analyst, Hangout. I'm Ayodele Uzubakun. Today on the program, Presidential Election Petition Tribunal begins pre-hearing amid tight security, warns against sensational reports, and later on the show, Obi visits Soyinka over disagreement with obedient family, says Nobel laureate paid a huge price for Igbos during the Civil War. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju and Gani Kairi Balogun. If you are ready, let the hangout start now. Thank you for staying with us. Let's begin with insecurity in the southeast, where a sort of double tragedy hit a prominent man in the zone. An Imo State businessman, Ikechukwu Ebelebe, has been found dead 2 weeks after he was reportedly kidnapped by gunmen in his hometown in Owerri, Akokwa, in Idiato North local government area of the state. Ebelebe's corpse was found by villagers where it was dumped in a local community in Orumba South local government area of Anambra State. This was after the yet-to-be identified assailant collected 10 million naira ransom from his family. This is very, very tragic, Jide. And we keep seeing this, and this assailant, after killing the person they kidnapped, they will still collect money, ransom from the family of these people. So why killing the person you've abducted after collecting the ransom?
I usually would even have killed the person and still hold on.
Would have killed the victim?
Yes, with a view to taking money. They do this a lot these days. They would have killed the person. They will now be hanging on so that the family, they can make as much money as possible from the family. Remember even that little girl in Kano that was murdered by the teacher, the proprietor of her school. After the death of the girl, they were still collecting money from the family. And they knew that he had killed the girl. So in this case, the kidnappers collected 5 million initially, but didn't allow the family to speak with him. And when the family insisted, they had to speak with the man. He asked for another 5 million.
Once the situation is like that you can't speak with the victim.
Yet, he asked for another 5 million, and in spite of the payment of the 5 million, they wouldn't release him and they wouldn't let him speak with his family.
Is it mostly not to identify any of them, or what? Why would they go ahead?
I think that
to kill this victim.
Some of what we are witnessing in the southeast is a mixture of terrorism and criminality, because once they lay their hands on a big person, they are likely to kill the person, whatever happens. This is what they've been doing. Big person, a politician, they get hold of that person, it's not likely to come back alive. So,
to leave no trace.
It's not. This is terrorism. Terrorism is not about living. It is about instilling fear in people that look
just wicked,
just sheer wickedness. Look at all the high-profile people they've killed, whether they are politicians or not. They will just kill, and they will have taken money, but they will still kill the person. So it's terrorism. It's just sheer wickedness that is going on in the southeast, especially the area between Imo and Anambra. This is where this is very, very prevalent. It's not prevalent as prevalent in Enugu or in Ebonyi. But that That place is like the axis of criminality in the southeast. The boundary between Igbo and Anambra State. That's where they are killing people. So once you get kidnapped, only a miracle will make you come out alive. They are saying they don't want politics, don't discuss politics. They catch people. The first thing that comes to their mind is to waste that person, not just even the money. So this money just looks like a bonus to them. Just go back and see some of those cases. They just kill people.
GKB, when this campaign started, when we're saying unknown gunmen, it was hidden under the guise of, maybe outsiders, strangers, Fulani herdsmen, people that are not a part of them coming to wreak havoc within the southeast. But apparently, after some time, we got to know that, look, it's still the same set of people, criminals, cultists, outlaws within the southeast, wreaking havoc on their own community.
Well, the reality that has faced us as a nation is the fact that the state has failed in protecting its citizens at such a level that such audacity can take place in the geographically the smallest landmass out of the 6 regions in Nigeria. Because it's very, very, very bad if one should say that, fine, the reason why it's rampant in the north was because of the size of the forest. There are some of them are bigger than states. You cannot use the same excuse to justify what's happening in the southeast, where the entire landmass is very small compared to. So we're facing the same problem with different dynamics. And that to me is the danger. Because the one in the southeast now is more cohesive. They pick somebody up in Nemo. The money, like Jide said, was just a bonus. I'm sure the guy must have been wasted immediately. Maybe they now realized how much they could make from the cops. They decided, okay, let's expand this. Move it away from the point of trying to make a statement, to make money out of that tragedy. There must be something that we can do as a nation to reduce these things happening to us. Because no matter what we say, the reality is that the people who are mandated by law to protect us have not been doing a very good job when it comes to this particular reality. And like I said, we can give excuses of a sparse of land where they can escape in some areas. We can't say the same thing about what is happening here. Because from the point it was taken to the point it was found, according to Google, was an extensive level than about 25, 30 kilometers radius. That is a chicken walk for somebody taking a Sanfara and taking to Niger. That will be about 200, 300 kilometers. So if you cannot narrow down the areas of interest and really solve the problem, then I don't know what exactly we are doing as a nation of laws.
I think the community leaders, the elders, in the southeast should be able to rein in these people. So far, they are renegades or they are cultists or outlaws from within that, zone.
Well, it's difficult given the way that they operate. Stationary terrorists are a lot easier to deal with if you can identify their hideouts, the forest where they operate from. But these ones move around, they are very mobile, they move around. So you don't know where they will strike next. And that is why it's been really, really difficult. Look at the Labour Party candidate that was killed. Just like that. This is not, I don't think it's money they want. They just want to create a climate of fear in the southeast. The guys that, a Biafran state will protect them better. Nigeria, there is no point believing in Nigeria. And they've just been killing people. You kidnap people, they kill them. They don't ask questions, they just kill people. So if you're unfortunate to be kidnapped in that part of the country, most of the time, more than 90% of the time, it's not for the money. They just feel like killing people. And that's why many rich men are reluctant to go to the east. There are people from the southeast like going home in December, to meet with their kids and kin, enjoy the Christmas holiday. But this time around, people are reluctant to go home because these boys will be lying in wait to kill you. And it's just a terrible thing. The governor of Imo State is one governor among his peers today who has invested so much in security. We'll see some of the armored vehicles that Hope Uzodinma bought. You will know that this is somebody who doesn't take security seriously. But in spite of that, this kind of killings still take place in this area. It's terrible. It's really terrible. I hope that the incoming administration will be able to find a way to put an end to the nonsense that's going on. People are reluctant to go to the east for reasons like this. Look at, even on 20th January, CUPP spokesman, Ugochinyere, was attacked in this same area. And 3 persons were killed and 33 vehicles burnt. The resident of the sole administrator of Fediat or not was completely reduced to ashes. It's a terrible thing, but for a family to come together, raise money by way of ransom, and
very painful.
It happened in Kogi State too. It happened in Kogi State too. One guy was kidnapped. The family struggled. They raised the money only for the kidnappers to tell them to go and carry his corpse in the forest where they left it. They left it somewhere in Yagbaland. He just made his corpse there. This man is particularly painful that this person that they have killed, he is someone who has invested so much on the underprivileged. He has an NGO where he takes care of, through which he takes care of elderly people. And he's based here in Lagos. He's the CEO of Divine Ike Motors. Then he also, the foundation is called Divine Ike Foundation for Humanity. It caters for the elderly and the needy in the southeast. So this is a kind of person useful to the society, who wants to make life more meaningful for the underprivileged. That is the person that
Timi is calling us from Abuja.
Good evening.
Yes, thank you for joining us.
Yes. My take is that most of these terrorist acts in the southeast is a copycat of the Champagne in Ireland. That's why they don't have an identifiable place or space. They operate from within homes. When it's time for them to strike, the order is given. Go out and strike. I think that is what is happening in the southeast. There is no hideout per se. It's not like the northeast or the northwest. It's very much like the Irish Republican Army. Thank you.
Thank you, Timmy. GKB, some people will say because of this outgoing administration, because of, marginalization, semi-marginalization, because of appointments skewed against the southeastern zone. That's allegedly. That's why they've taken, some people have taken to this kind of criminality in the name of, crusade for the southeast.
There's a Yoruba proverb that says that I'm sure there are still elders in the southeast who can talk to these people, tell them the truth, guide them aright. Because it's un-African to understand that people will take over the streets of our land and there'll be somebody somewhere they can listen to. I don't think it's true. So that means either they are complicit in this particular tragedy or they created the monster that they can no longer control. Because fine, if I was talking about marginalization, there always will be an excuse to do the bad thing. As you say, it doesn't matter how bad things are. if you are not inclined to do the bad thing, you will not do it. And the people, I know people who would rather starve than beg. And I know people who would rather beg than go into criminal activities. It's a state of. So I don't think it's the marginalization, because they move beyond the point of now asking for equity in the Nigerian state to demanding a state or a nation of their own. That thing is it's like a drug, because it gives you the utopian vision of what the place will be, devoid of the Nigerian nuisance, if I can use that word, within the system. But you and I know that's not true. You look at Sudan, you look at South Sudan, you look at even countries in East Africa who broke away 60 years ago. They are now being forced to come together to cooperate economically, because they realize that there is something to gain with numbers. So anybody can stand up and make all the right noises about liberation, about marginalization, about this government doing the nasty to the Southeast. But even there are people in the Southeast who don't go into this, who are thriving. They've never been to drugs, they've never been to organ harvesting, they've not been to banditry, they've not been to freedom fighting. I call it that. Yet they are still thriving within the Southeast. They are in Lagos, they are not in Abuja, they are not in the US, they are right there in Enugu, in Onitsha, thriving. That means not everybody will use that as an excuse of what they are doing. I still think, based on the African experience, elders in that area, either people have lost respect for them totally, or they are complicit in this particular tragedy.
All right. The legal fireworks regarding the 2023 presidential election has begun. As the tribunal started sitting this Monday, security was beefed up at the Court of Appeal in Abuja as the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal commenced pre-hearing of petitions challenging the victory of Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the February 25th election. Justice Samani maintained that the panel will do justice to the case and warned against now reports. Julie, I think it's a time to be very, very careful. And this is not the time to speculate. This is not the time to go into the crux of the matter that we have the judiciary, we have the Court of Appeal, we have a panel that is sitting that in the next 180 days or before, they're expected to complete their assignment. And I think Nigeria should just give the Court of Appeal the benefit of doubt. So of the tribunal, the benefit of doubt to actually do justice to whatever perceived injustice people are insinuating.
The presiding judge said today that he was confident that at the end of the trial and verdict, that everyone will be satisfied with the verdict. And I'm like, what is this judge saying? There's no act by which you can satisfy everyone in form of a judgment on a political matter. People who have made up their minds that they won the election when they did not come close to winning, whatever the verdict may be, they are not going to agree that the verdict was the right one. And that's why former head of state Yakubu Gowon was pleading during the weekend that they should not damage the judiciary. The judiciary has stepped in a number of times when all hopes seemed lost. The judiciary has intervened competently on many occasions. Yes, we've had some judgments that didn't really edify the judiciary. We've had some very recent judgments that people found it hard to believe, like some people getting into the Senate without taking part in primaries and all that. The judiciary relying on technicalities. But we have to admit that even during the military era, the judiciary stood up to be counted. We can't, because of some judgments that, in our view, didn't make sense, rubbish the judiciary. Because if we do not have the judiciary in a democracy, the democracy itself is doomed. Because politicians will always misbehave, and we will count on the judiciary to set them aright. So it's unfortunate the extent to which the arguments have gone in respect of this, especially the presidential election of February 25. But as Gawan said, we have to conduct ourselves in a manner that helps us to preserve the glory of the Supreme Court. Today, the matter may go against you, but tomorrow you will need the judiciary in a particular matter. So, this set of politicians who are heating up the polity needlessly, they have to do a rethink and put Nigeria first. I know that most of the time they put themselves first. Some of them, you can't describe how big their ego is. Some of them, their ego is just as big as the African elephant, which is the biggest land mammal. So, but they've got to put Nigeria first. And that is also what the judge was warning about: inflammatory statements and sensational reportage of what's going on in the course of the court proceedings. But today, you saw that Action Alliance withdrew its matter because, based on the schedule, it was supposed to be the first case that would be looked at, but they withdrew their matter before the pre-hearing session began. So they still have the Allied People's Movement.
Four political parties.
Yes, we still have Obi, INEC versus Tinubu, Shetima, APC. Allied People's Movement versus INEC, APC, Tinubu, Shetima, and Kabiru Masari. Atiku, PDP versus INEC, Tinubu, and APC as respondents will be the matter that will be treated last. So what it means is that the matter of Kabiru Masari being a surrogate candidate, you know, that matter, the matter that
was raised by the Obi camp.
Yeah, that some of the, they are not the only one, even the Allied People's Movement have also decided to go to court on that. So that means the court has to make a conclusive decision on that, whether it was right for him to occupy that position or candidate or vice presidential candidate temporarily as it has happened.
Sorry, GKB, when you look at the expectations, a lot of Nigerians, more than before, I've never seen any tribunal or any court case that Nigerians are waiting for, expecting the verdicts since 1999, like this particular, maybe because of the way it was keenly contested, the February 25th presidential election. So hopes will be dashed, hope will be rekindled. Some people are going to be happy, some people will not be happy. But at the end of the day, this is not the final court.
Yeah.
It's going to go to the Supreme Court. So the Supreme Court will still have another 60 days to adjudicate on this and dispense of it.
I think that's the nexus that a lot of our people don't seem to be aware of. That this particular tribunal is the tribunal of the first order. That means it's not the final say.
For the presidential.
For the presidential. For the gubernatorial, even everything. Gubernatorial too will go to the Supreme Court. I didn't only ask for
No, for the presidential, it starts at the Court of Appeal. And from the Court of Appeal, the tribunal goes to Supreme Court.
3 layers for the gubernatorial.
Yes, gubernatorial 3 layers.
But everybody ends up at the Supreme Court. Thanks to the Rotimi Amici versus PDP case of years gone by. And then the one for Aregbesola, when the National Assembly decided their wisdom.
Okay, GKB, just hold your thoughts. Let's take this breather. When we come back, we'll discuss. It's still Journalist Hangout. We'll be right back after this breather. Stay with us.
General meeting of the Joint Talks 10th Assembly with all members-elect of the 10th House of Representatives earlier scheduled for Monday, May 8, 2023 will now hold on date Tuesday, May 9, 2023. Venue Borno Rivers Hall, Transcorp Hilton, Abuja. Time 7 p.m. prompt. We regret any inconvenience this may have caused you. Announcers: Right Honorable Usman Bello Kumo, APC Gombe, Chairman, Joint Talks 10th Assembly. Right Honorable Kingsley Chinda, PDP Rivers, Co-Chairman, Joint Talks 10th Assembly. Right Honorable Usani Madaki, NPP Kano, Secretary, Joint Talks 10th Assembly.
All right, if you're just joining us, this is Journalist Hangout. We're reaching you live from TVC News here in Lagos, Nigeria. And I have Ganika Balogun and Babajide Kolade Otitoju in the studio. We are looking at the legal fireworks, talking about the Court of Appeal, talking about the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court tomorrow is expected to adjudicate
on the Oyetola matter.
On the Oyetola versus Adeleke matter. Tomorrow is the
it's a very busy week for the...
it's the final day, and they're going to say something. Looking at the calculations now, we've left that era of 48 months, 38 months, that it could go on and on. We have matters that, they are statute bound matters, 180 days. Yeah. If it's not dispensed upon in 118 days, it's just going to will be dead on arrival.
Yes.
That's good for our judiciary at least.
Yes.
There's a time frame.
Obasanjo, Buhari versus Obasanjo with Ahamba as Buhari's lawyer in 2003. The matter began in 2003. It ended in 2006.
Yes.
Yes, I remember covering that judgment. I was in the Supreme Court. Afebaola was Obasanjo's lawyer. I remember that case. In fact, when he was commending the judges, they said, no. The presiding judge said, don't commend us. Don't need to commend us. Remember that matter. 3 years they were in court.
3 years.
Yes.
By that time,
3 years they were in court. Yeah. Now, the law has been amended. Yes. And the law has been amended in a manner that takes into cognizance the avalanche of evidence that you will need to convince the court that you won the election. A country with more than 170,000 polling units, your evidence can come from anywhere.
Yeah.
You need time to front load evidence, to photocopy those, the pieces of evidence that you have.
And
now, see, now it's 180 days for the
everything to be.
Yes, and that one is backed by law. It's 180 days. Then the Supreme Court, the final court, also needs 60 days. Yes. Again, that is what the law says. Those who want this matter decided within 14 days, even in the U.S., O.J. Simpson's matter was not decided in 14 days. We see matters that go on for years. So when our lawyers are speaking as biased people, it is very easy to know. Some of them have practiced abroad. They know that it's not all cases that you can rush. It takes time. Look at even the Senator, the former Deputy Senate President, whose matter, Ekwere Madu, did it last for 14 days? Was it just 14 days? They've been on it since last year.
October.
They've been on it since last year. And I want to believe that even the evidence that they needed, they had. From the first week, they had the evidence that they needed. But they still needed to take their time. The evidence was there. The boy that was taken there, had already, it was in their custody. They took their phones. They saw communication between between the doctor, Obina, and Ekwere Madu. Yet, they still took their time. Yeah. But people want them to simply rush this whole thing and come to a conclusion that is fast. Because they imagine that this matter could be decided by technicalities. Oh, you did not win Abuja. I was reading one of the spokespersons of one of the parties saying, oh, Tinubu didn't win Abuja, so he did not win the election. They imagine that the people in Abuja
are more special.
They have 4 heads. They go around with 4 heads. They go around with other things that the rest of us have. God blessed us with 1. They have in peers and the rest of them. Absolute nonsense. To imagine that one part of our country, very small part of our country, go and look at the map of Abuja. It's just similar to the map of Lagos in terms of how small it is.
You say special status.
Which special? Who granted it special status?
And FCT.
Oh, then they let them go to there's a section in the Constitution that says Abuja shall be treated as a state. 299 of the Constitution.
No, I think they
conveniently. No, for some of them were ignorant. They didn't know that portion of the Constitution, that section exists. But even after telling them, they are the kind of people that they do not even believe in a healthy argument. Whatever it is that you say. And a lot of them are on reading. Just like some of their promoters on TV that you see argue. Somebody, somebody was saying, oh, on TV, journalists, to tell you that even training of journalists has collapsed in our country. A journalist came on TV saying, oh, INEC is biased. Why do you think he said INEC is biased? Because INEC defended itself that, look, this election, this is the winner. You sue people. You sue people. You join them in a suit, and you don't expect them to defend themselves. It's not Tinubu that they are defending. I mean, the people,
the exercise.
They are deciding, they are defending the exercise that they conducted.
So that you don't rubbish their own name.
Yes.
They have a legal department.
Why did you join them if you didn't want them to defend themselves? When you join a party, that party has to come up with its defense. It is the defense that they've come up with. And you now turn that to mean that they are biased. How do people reason? I'm just amazed. Now, look at when APC sued INEC and Adeleke the other day, and APC believed I won the election in Osun. What did INEC do? INEC defended itself.
Yes, that's no.
On the side of APC or PDP.
PDP.
INEC said no. No. The same thing happened even with the election of Hope Uzodinma. INEC defended itself at the Supreme Court that no. In the election that we conducted, this Hope Uzodinma did not win. And then you come and tell Nigerians that they are biased because they defended the exercise. So is that bias? Why did you join them if you did not want them, if you would not want to see them defend themselves? How can I conduct an election? I was given billions of naira to conduct an election. You now want people to believe that they are biased. Every time, tomorrow, if Binani goes to court against Fintiri, she goes to court against Fintiri in Adamawa State, she has to, Binani by convention has to join INEC in the suit. And if she joins INEC in the suit, INEC will go and defend all that it did that culminated in Governor Fintiri's victory. Will you now say that INEC is biased? So if you don't want them to come and defend the exercise, don't join them in the suit. And if you don't join them in the suit, you have lost the matter, even from the beginning. So these are some of the things. INEC, like in this case, now INEC will go there and defend his work. So journalists should go on TV and be misleading the Nigerian people. Peddling ignorance. Ignorance peddling is on a very high plane in our country by journalists wearing cheap suits on TV and making it look like they know it all. Whatever you don't know, ask people. Ask journalists. I mean, ask lawyers. As a person, there are judges that even some legal matters that I don't even ask lawyers. I ask judges. I have friends among judges that I ask. That's why I'm able to argue some cases in a manner that suggests that I have training. I'm not. I'm an unlearned person.
You are mislearned.
So at the end of the day, when you know the optimism surrounding this hope that at the end of the day, the inauguration will go on.
Yeah.
And anybody that thinks you are going to go to any court in this land to go and get an injunction against that inauguration, please wake him up from sleep. No judge in the Federal Republic of Nigeria will give you an injunction to stop that inauguration. So, for those of you that they are very sure that an individual will not be inaugurated, just go and bury that idea.
No, the very idea that you think that those who are asking for 14 days or those who are optimistic are relying on the law is not true. They are looking for validation. And there's nothing more dangerous than dogma. Because it has turned to a religion. Because when you ask them to show you facts, how they won, they start calling you names. And in fact, that's why I'm very happy when I wrote this morning, that I was looking forward to this day, because I was waiting to see the facts that they've been promising us for almost 4 months. Yep. That I've been asking for. Because the Deputy Governor of Lagos said that the things that were being, I'm now trying to show something else, that the polling booths that were contention were less than 2% of whatever the state has garnered. So
that's about 87 polling booths.
So you understand? So we are talking about 170 or 169 something.
30,000.
And the entire thing that they are banking on is basically less than 10,000 polling units throughout Nigeria. And people keep wondering, will that make a marginal difference? But they say we should just watch out that they are bringing something else to do. But Yorubas have a saying, it's the last song that a deaf man hears that will sing till death. And these people are not, this election is not going to change them. They've made up their mind that X one, no matter what the judges say, it's not going to change their mind. It's not going to change their position. And if they grow to be 100, they'll be telling their children and grandchildren that whatever judgment comes out of the Supreme Court about this case was flawed.
But the beauty of it is that
generalizing this.
No, the beauty of it is that everybody seems to have put their hope in one basket now, the judiciary. Nobody is saying no court. Now everybody is saying let's wait for the judiciary. Now we are going to wait for the judiciary. We've submitted our hopes and everything to the judiciary, and we expect that they will do justice.
Yes, this is not the first matter. Even an election in 2007, that the winner said, this election that brought me to office is flawed. Because those were the days when they simply were writing figures.
The ballot papers weren't realized. No number.
No, you see, they will bring ballot materials meant for Osun State. You will see them in Ogun. Those things were happening.
Honestly.
How did Oyinlola win his matter again? I mean, Aregbesola win his matter against Oyinlola.
Forensic audit.
There was a lot of ballot box stuffing. Ballot materials that had been pre-term printed, meant for another state, ended up here in Osun, and they just printed them and put in this and counted. So now technology has come in to make our elections better. Where a person says, February 25 is the election, is the worst in our history, that person is either someone without a sense of history, very poor in history, and I wouldn't blame people because in this same country they stop the learning of history.
Yeah.
Or downright mischievous. Because we've seen where elections didn't take place at all, figures were simply written. We've seen in this country,
brass,
a party had already even won an election only and congratulated by a former minister, only for that result to be changed because they felt it embarrassed a deputy vice president. They changed it, and the party that won eventually lost. In this country, no one is doing that now. We are relying on beavers, and that's why people. I was speaking with an House of Reps member today who said, Jide, if you know the way PC fought me in Plateau, but I still managed to win. I said, you managed to win because the era of people sitting down simply writing figures was over. And that's why today APC members in the House of Reps, their number is lower than the opposition.
For the first time.
For the first time. Because that election permitted people who normally would have lost to win because the human influence was limited.
Minimized, yeah.
Beavers was allowed to work. So you go to an election now believing that you will win.
But to a lot of people, the IREF that wasn't uploaded, the materials that weren't uploaded to the IREF, that again marred everything. That annuls what is in
that
all
the
Form EC8As were
the primary source, the primary document is the one that all the agents signed.
Yeah.
That is the most important of all, and that is the one that is in the Constitution. In the Constitution, I'm not talking about electoral, in the Constitution. And when you have conflict between this thing, you have between an act and the Constitution stands supreme. If you remember, the matter of Kadrida was not in the Constitution.
It was thrown out.
It was thrown out. And that. So, the IRF that they did not upload to IRF cannot dismiss the fidelity of the exercise because the primary source is still that from EC8A. All the agents will sign. So as long as those ones, that is what they will present in court, not what is uploaded.
All right, we'll quickly take this break. When we come back, we'll round off.
General meeting of the Joint Stocks 10th Assembly with all members-elect of the 10th House of Representatives earlier scheduled for Monday, May 8, 2023 will now hold on dates Tuesday, May 9, 2023. Venue, Borno Rivers Hall, Transcorp Hilton, Abuja. Time, 7 p.m. prompt. We regret any inconvenience this may have caused you. Announcers, Right Honorable Usman Bello Kumo, APC Gombe, Chairman, Joint Talks 10th Assembly. Right Honorable Kingsley Chinda, PDP Rivers, Co-Chairman, Joint Talks 10th Assembly. Right Honorable Aliu Sani Madaki, NMPP Kano, Secretary, Joint Talks 10th Assembly.
Thank you for staying with us. In politics, there are no permanent enemies, nor friends, but interests which drive actions of politicians. The presidential candidates of the Labour Party in the 2023 elections, Peter Obi, has visited Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka at his residence. Obi, in a post on his official Twitter handle, described his visits to Professor Soyinka as enriching, noting that he had a useful discussion with the Nobel laureate. He said the visit is intended to address the disagreement between the great icon and obedient family, as well as honor him for the huge price he paid for Igbo people during the Civil War. Professor Soyinka has been like a whipping dog in the hands of, I don't know how to describe them at best, but every other person in the last 2-3 months, when you just see anybody just come out, and they've been abusing the prof, they have been disrespecting him.
Even comparing him to Chimamanda.
A lot of things say that he was the prophet Olusoyinka collected woto from the children of anger. So Peter Obi has gone to Olusoyinka now because I still see a semblance of sanity in Mr. Peter Obi.
No, Peter Obi,
a gentleman.
Is a gentleman to the core and is sensible. Because Soyinka's sympathy was for Labour. It is clear.
It was never hidden.
Soyinka's sympathy was for Labour Party. And Soyinka was among the first people to condemn the attack on people on election day, which led to the inability of some Labour Party faithful to vote. Voter suppression that we saw in some of the elections that we witnessed. Soyinka was among the first to condemn it. Now they want us to believe that, oh, Soyinka is a Tinubu man, is this, is that. Where did Soyinka even hinted, where did he hint that, look, Tinubu should be your candidate? No, there was no time that he campaigned for Tinubu. And I can say that his sympathy was for Peter Obi all along.
Well, yes, sir, because he was
all along. He was asking for a younger person. The younger person was asking for younger person.
That he has told them.
His sympathy was for Obi. Now, for people who call themselves Obi supporters, to now be abusing a man who showed sympathy for their party is the height of irresponsibility. And you abuse people. You can disagree with people, but you cannot be abusing people the way you are doing just because you have access to the internet. The internet, the people who created the internet, they did not imagine that we'll be using it in a lousy manner like this. You can't be disrespecting people just because they corrected. So you can't say that they do not like corrective criticism. They do not like it. And that is the truth. Before Soyinka said that, we too, we have talked about it. Let's engage in healthy argument.
Before you should
if anything, you start abusing people.
They started uploading Chinamanda's CV and versus Professor Olusoyinka. I was like, man, that's
they are the only class of people who can do that, who can even compare both people. Because Chimamanda will never see herself in the same class as Olusoyinka. Never. She will never. So to now, so what is all this? So what a lot of the people
went to jail. They don't know.
Posting all this rubbish about Soyinka. They are Igbos who do not know even the Nigerian history. And Obi used this occasion to remind Soyinka of the huge price that he paid for the Igbos. I mean, there should be levels to anything, even madness. There should be levels to it. You can't be abusing just everybody. Young people in Nigeria have every reason to be angry because the system is skewed against them. It's made them feel inferior in their country. The system has made it look like they do not have a future in their country. But that does not mean that even those who have sided with you, those who want to see you prosper, you then begin to abuse them, insult them, for just because they said the truth. It's because of that that they turned against. Who is Dati in Nigeria? That he cannot be corrected.
Dati lost.
He came third in his polling unit.
He usurped the position of McCarthy in the Senate.
Yes.
He spent 1 year,
and they sent him packing.
He was sent packing.
Because he didn't win the election.
Nobody campaigned that he should not be sworn into the Senate at that time.
He was sworn, he enjoyed it for 1 year.
He was sworn into the Nigerian Senate.
Even for some time,
they still call him
senator. Some still call him senator. Somebody got into Senate
He collected the salary for 1 year.
means.
Fraudulently.
Yes.
You are still calling him senator. How
It is this Senator Malkafi that went to court, proved this case in court. Nobody was saying they should not swear in that.
No, that is what the law says. I said it here yesterday that Paul Ahamba,
Mike Ahamba, SAN.
in 2003, he brought the matter to the Supreme Court in the Buhari Obasanjo matter, and they told him that all winners of elective positions will not be sacked because they have a court case until the matter is decided before they are sacked. That's the way it is. He too is was a beneficiary
Of the rigged.
of that law. He rigged himself into office.
Yes.
And the courts eventually sent him packing, but he had stayed there for about a year.
Enjoying the perks.
So
He
that's
was
what people are saying, that inauguration should not hold. So what should happen?
No, I think people are desperate because they are looking at the person, not the institution. And that to me is unfortunate.
No, it's a
That's
hatred
it.
for the person.
That's it.
They are not even looking at the implications
The laws of
of
what we are talking about, they've been doing it.
They don't care, they just don't like the person. They just want the person to be there. And sometimes even beyond the person, it's from the ethnicity of the person. It is that bad. They don't like the person. They don't like the ethnicity of the person. And some of them have told me to my face that they prefer that somebody from another part of the country should continue, rather for that thing to come to the ethnic parts of Nigeria that the winner came from. Those are the realities of our reality.
So divided.
We can't run away from that. So a lot of
That's
people.
why Obi has to be commended.
Yes.
I commend
Even if we
Obi.
don't commend some of the people
I wish he had
we
done
have
this.
to commend him.
I wish he had done this earlier
No,
when
he's
it
a
was
gentleman.
us.
Anytime you
Whatever
decide
it
to
is,
do
it
this,
makes sense, even now.
it makes sense.
I wish he had
Even
done
now.
it when it was hot.
People,
Sometimes
it's on record
the way
that he has done
Wole
it.
Soyinka was
I know. I was here. I was in
being
Nigeria.
premiered.
And then you wonder what happened to our heroes. And then the people we talk tomorrow are the same people will now be telling you respect our
They
heroes.
disrespect their leaders. So this one,
That's the irony of the matter. You throw the first
he
stone.
did the right thing.
Yeah.
And they referred to Soyinka's father.
Please?
He said the huge price he paid just before the outbreak of the civil war, fighting for the cause of the Igbo, will not be forgotten.
And that's
Some of us mentioned it here.
Yeah.
spectacular.
They did not deserve what.
It was dragged through the gutter
Yes.
for things that are
You need
totally
to see
unnecessary.
go on Twitter and see the way they lash this old man.
So well, the system will take care of itself. But I think Obi did well. Like I said earlier, I wish he had done it earlier, but better late than never.
Yes.
Because leadership is about taking responsibility.
Obi will have realized that, look, this election will go. And if he still wants to remain in politics, he has to be conscious of this kind of things and behave the way.
Because people will remember.
People will remember.
Yeah.
He has lost the election this time, but that is still the president of our country.
With the obedience.
Obedience, what is who are obedient? People voted for him who are not obedient. What is the meaning of obedience?
I don't know. That's why they keep
You
abusing.
see, how many times did Abraham Lincoln contest before he eventually won? Buhari too contested. Buhari is similar to Obi in terms of even the manner their campaigns went and the number of states that they won. So he can still, the age is on his side. Great things can still happen to him politically. So he has to weigh all his actions. He must not make himself giddy by some of the praises from people who are worshiping him. No. He has to recognize when they are wrong. He has not frontally come out to condemn them, though Soyinka said he should rein them in. I don't think anyone can rein in people who have made up their minds to be as bad as they are. But the point is, by coming out, he has shown that he did not support the way they were abusing the old man. By coming out, visiting him, he requested for the visit. The visit was granted, and he told the man, look, you've always fought for justice. History will judge you the right way. And we appreciate how you fought for the Igbos and the injustice meted to them before the Civil War. That, to me, Obi has made my day.
Perfect judgment.
Hearing this, he has made my day. I'm happy with him for this, that he has done this to the shame of those who thought that what they did was right. He has corrected what happened as far as I'm concerned.
Gani Kaide Balogun. Thank you, GKB.
Always
Thank
a
you for your
pleasure to be
contribution.
here.
And Bikio, thank you for your contribution. And that's our offering today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight by 11 p.m. And join us this Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. for Journalist Hangout on Sunday. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Ayodele Ozubaku. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
Now that Nigeria's next president has been decided at the poll on February 25, attention is shifted to May 29 Inauguration Day, the commencement of a new 4-year tenure of Nigeria's 16th president since 1960, when the country gained independence. It's going to be the 7th inauguration ceremony since the beginning of the 4th Republic in 1999. And President-elect Bola Tinubu and Vice President-elect Kashim Shettima will take the oath of office. Join me, Nifebi Ogutoye, every weekday on TVC News for the countdown to the historic May 29 Inauguration Day, as we bring you all updates, political intrigues, and in-depth analysis of people and events that you need to know. The countdown to May 29 Inauguration Day, live at 6 p.m. every weekday, only on TVC News.
Lagos is the most visited state in Africa as the 5th largest economy on the continent. Covering the state and its government is no mean feat, it's a busy beat. We go beyond the curtain of tapes to traveling far into the deep.
I want to thank the Lagos state government for the healthcare facility,
to bring stories that cut across all spectrums.
A greater Lagos shall be ours.
We tell you stories that define our collective well-being as Lagosians. I'm Adedoja Salamadini. I live in Lagos, inside Lagos.
The TVC News at 7 and the TVC News at 10 are not like any other news broadcast.
It's the big news hour, the hour for the big breaking stories.
We've got some of the best reporters on the field,
Taking you through as it happens,
it's fast-paced, hard-hitting,
with investigations that matter,
bringing in news that affects your life.
sport, entertainment, and business news, so you don't miss a thing.
Experience resourceful coverage with depth
Every night. Kano State is not just the commercial capital of northern Nigeria. It is the seat of an ancient kingdom that has thrived for more than 1,000 years. It's home to people with a proud and glorious heritage, a dynamic and thriving state. Let's take you on a weekly ride through Kano to see how Governor Abdullahi Ganduje is making steady strides through infrastructure development, education reform, quality and affordable healthcare, urban rejuvenation, human capital development, and more. Kano Spotlight, Friday, 9:30 p.m. on TVC News. At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News,
First, with breaking news.
Every major news story is with many perspectives and layered with different levels of impact.
Hello. What time did this happen? We will be right there.
At TVC News, we follow the big and major news, gathering the facts, witnessing the outcome.
I am here live at the aftermath of the